Mindset 4. Work is urgent, my health can wait. Deadlines are immediate. Targets are immediate. Clients and customers are immediate. Board meetings are immediate. But the consequences of poor health often feel delayed. That makes it easy to say, once this project is complete, I'll focus on my health. Once we finish the quarter, I'll start exercising. Once the travel reduces, I'll work on my diet. Once the company stabilizes, I'll prioritize sleep. But there are two problems. The first is that for a high-performing executive, there is almost always another deadline. There's always another quarter, another expansion, another crisis, another project, another opportunity, another person who needs you. If health must wait until work becomes quiet, health may wait indefinitely. The second problem is this. Poor health is not only creating long-term consequences, it may already be reducing your short-term performance. You don't have to suffer kidney failure or a heart attack or a stroke to pay the price of poor health. You may already have poor sleep, low energy in the afternoon, difficulty concentrating, mental fog, mood swings, frequent hunger, sugar cravings, stubborn belly fat. For the men, love handles, man boobs, the ego-denting erectile dysfunction. For the women, reduced sexual confidence because of how they see themselves. How do these affect your leadership? How do they affect your executive presence? How do they affect your decision making? How do they affect your ability to remain calm during conflict? How many extra hours are you working because your mind is no longer as sharp as it could be? How many decisions are being postponed because you're mentally exhausted? How much time are you losing through poor sleep and low energy? I once spoke to a lady who weighed over 150 kilograms. She shared a story that has stayed with me ever since. She had applied for a senior position and had excelled throughout the recruitment process. Every stage went well, and by the time she was invited for the final face-to-face interview, she was confident she had a real chance. But the moment she walked into the interview room, everything changed. She told me she immediately became conscious of the way some members on the interview panel were looking at her. Then, as she tried to sit down, she realized she couldn't fit into the chair that had been prepared for her. Utterly embarrassed, she quietly asked for another chair. The look she received in return shattered her confidence. From that moment on, she said she was no longer focused on answering the interview questions. She was consumed by what had just happened. The interview went downhill from there, and she never got the job. Now, whether or not her weight influenced the panel's final decision, one thing is certain. It had already taken away from her the one thing she needed most in that interview: her confidence. All this considered, is it inaccurate to say that health is not a rival of performance? Is it reaching too much to say that health is your greatest asset? Surely not. It's one of the fundamental inputs to sustained high performance. Your body is the infrastructure through which every professional output must pass. You wouldn't call charging your laptop a distraction from work, would you? Without power, the laptop shuts down and the work stops. Is looking after your health any different? It's not a distraction from performance. It's what makes high-level performance possible. Yet many executives treat sleep, nutrition, exercise, and recovery as interruptions to the real work. And there's another reality. Your organization may value you, but if you become unable to work, the organization will eventually find a way to continue. Your position can be replaced. Your role in your family, however, cannot. I once spoke to the wife of an executive who was struggling with his health. Her concern was simple. We need him alive. He was not only an executive, he was a husband, a father, a provider. His health was not merely a private matter. It was part of the family's stability. You may have enough money to pay for medication, surgery, hospitalization, or even treatment abroad. But the question is not whether you can afford the complication. The question is that an intelligent use of your resources when much of the risk could have been addressed earlier? Executives care about return on investment. Prevention and early intervention are usually better resource allocation strategies than waiting for avoidable deterioration. Here's a thought to consider. Instead of telling yourself, my health can wait, try replacing it with this. My health is a performance asset that requires ongoing protection. If you'd like to know whether there's a gap between what you know is healthy and what you're actually doing to be healthy, then click the link in the description below and complete the free Executive Mindset Behavior Assessment I've put together just for you. Otherwise, click here to watch the next video in the Executive Performance Mindset series, or if you've missed any of the episodes, click here to watch the full playlist. Speak soon.